My sister stole my identity to buy a house. I kept quiet until dessert when I slid a police report across the table. Ever get a call so devastating it blindsides you? That was me on Thursday at 11:42 a.m. I was halfway through folding laundry, playing melancholy indie tunes, when I noticed an unheard voicemail from an unknown number. I almost deleted it without a second thought, but something in the speaker's calm, overly professional tone made me pause. "Hi, this is Alicia from Clearwater Bank. We've been trying to reach you about overdue mortgage payments on the property in Oak Ridge." I went rigid. Oak Ridge? I live in a tiny two-bedroom apartment with peeling ceiling tiles and a fridge that sounds ready to die. A house? Impossible. No pets, no mortgage, nothing. I called back, bracing for a phishing scam. But the voice on the other end was real. A bank representative telling me I was 6 months behind on a mortgage, that the loan was in my name, and that they'd sent notices I never got. I flat out said, "I don't own a house." He recited the Oak Ridge address, and my heart sank. Oak Ridge, sleepy streets lined with trees, perfect for soccer moms, exactly the kind of place my sister Tara had been drooling over. She'd sent me Zillow listings at 2 a.m., pinned photo after photo under Dream Home, but I never believed she'd actually do it. I drove straight to Clearwater Bank. There, they pulled up the file, loan papers, my name, my social security number, and a signature that screamed forgery, like someone had traced mine. Then they showed me the ID on record. There she was, Tara, sporting a cheap black wig, smirking like she'd just pulled off the perfect crime. "We assumed you were aware," the bank rep told me softly. "Your contact information was updated too, and everything's been sent to the Oak Ridge address." Of course it was. She'd rerouted every bill, warning, and statement, letting the debt spiral while I stayed oblivious. I sat in my car afterward, staring at the steering wheel for 10 minutes, too numb to cry. It felt like my mind had shut down, screaming, "This can't be happening. This can't be real." While the other part was already imagining what it would feel like to get my credit wrecked and owe $178,000 for something I didn't even know existed. And the person who did it, Tara, my own sister. The girl I used to sneak Pop-Tarts with at 2 a.m., the same girl who cried when I let her borrow my car for prom because her date bailed. And now she'd literally stolen my identity, forged my signature, and bought herself her dream house in a neighborhood I'd never even visited. I drove straight to the police station. No dramatic music, no slamming the car door. Just this weird dead calm in my chest. Like once I walked through those doors, there was no going back. The officer behind the counter was nice. Too nice, actually. The kind of gentle voice people use when they think you might break down at any second. "You're doing the right thing," he said. "It's hard when it's family." I didn't answer. I just handed over the folder the bank printed for me. The documents, the mortgage records, the fake ID with Tara's smug face on it. He looked through it, eyebrows lifting higher with every page. "This is serious," he said, flipping to the forged signature. "We've seen stuff like this before, but not always this clean." Clean, right? 'Cause Tara wasn't stupid, just selfish. She knew how to cover her tracks, knew how to reroute mail, forge enough to pass a glance, how to lean on the fact that she'd never do something like that. But she did, and now she was going to find out I'm not the same sister she lied to for years. The officer asked me if I wanted to press charges. I said yes without hesitation. "You sure?" he asked. "She's your sister." "Not anymore," I said. That night, I sat on my couch, lights off, blanket over me, shaking from rage, and came up with a plan. Because Tara, she'd invited me to dinner. A little family thing, just catching up, she said. My dad was going to be there. Her fiancé, too. Like she was building this perfect, happy life on my damn credit. I wasn't going to cancel. I was going to show up. And I was going to slide that police report across the table like it was dessert. Dinner was at 7. I showed up at 6:58 sharp. Not early, not late, just enough to make a point. Tara opened the door like nothing had happened. Hair curled, glass of white wine in her hand, nails freshly done. She was glowing. "You made it," she said, like she wasn't walking around with nearly $200,000 of stolen debt in my name. I smiled back. Wouldn't miss it. Fake. So fake it could have won an Oscar. I walked in, said hi to Dad. He was already halfway through his first beer, talking to her fiancé, Travis. who smiled like a guy who had no idea his fiancée was about to go full criminal record. Dinner was chicken marsala. The table was set with cloth napkins and centerpieces like she'd been planning this night forever, which, to be fair, I had too, except I didn't come for the chicken. I came with a manila folder in my bag and a quiet fire in my chest. We made it through salad and awkward small talk. Tara was in her element, talking about the house project, her new dream kitchen, the patio she wanted to build in spring. She glanced at me once mid-sentence like she thought I'd ask for a tour or maybe congratulate her. I took a sip of wine instead. So she finally asked, "How's work? Still in that marketing thing?" Marketing thing? Right? The same job that made it possible for her to steal my credit in the first place. "Work's good," I said, calm as ice. "Actually, I've had a really interesting week," and just like that, I reached into my purse. The table went quiet when the folder hit the wood with a soft, ominous thud. Tara blinked. "What's that?" she asked, voice light, eyes tense. "Open it." She hesitated just long enough for her fiancé and my dad to turn their heads. Then she flipped it open. Mortgage documents, ID copies, screenshots of the fake email account she used to reroute statements, and right on top, the police report. Her face went white. "What is this?" Dad asked, leaning forward. She didn't speak. "It's proof," I said. "Proof that she used my name, my identity, and my credit score to buy this house, and that she's been hiding it for almost a year." Travis looked at her like he just swallowed glass. "Wait, Tara, what the hell?" Still, she said nothing. That silence, that beat of panic behind her eyes, that was the first time I felt powerful in 2 years. You could hear the tension buzzing in the room. Travis was still staring at the folder like it was going to catch fire. My dad leaned back in his chair, lips pressed so tight they were practically white. And Tara. Oh, Tara looked like a kid caught stealing cookies. If the cookie was identity fraud and the jar cost $178,000, she flipped the folder shut slowly. "I have no idea what this is," she said, voice flat, fake calm. "This is ridiculous. Why would I ever bring ding?" "Don't," I cut her off. "Don't play the innocent routine, not tonight." I leaned forward, elbows on the table, eyes locked on hers. "I saw the ID with your face in a wig. You actually went to the DMV with a printed version of my name and tried to pass it off. You signed loan documents with my social. The bank flagged the handwriting. I have emails, F-copies, everything." She blinked hard, the corner of her mouth twitching like she was trying to figure out which lie to go with. This is out of context. "It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think." My voice didn't rise. I didn't need to shout. The weight of truth did all the damage for me. That's when Dad finally spoke. "Tara, is this true?" She turned to him, eyes wide, voice suddenly shaking. "No, she's twisting everything. I was just trying to get approved, and I didn't think it would." Boom. There it was. She said it. I didn't think it would because she knew. Maybe not how deep, but she knew what she was doing was wrong. And now it was unraveling fast. "So you admit it?" Dad asked louder this time. She started, but I cut in again. "Don't bother, the police already have it. The case is open. I gave them everything. I just thought you deserved to hear it from me instead of seeing it on the news or, in court." She stood up fast, chair scraping the tile. "You really went to the cops? You stole my life, Tara. What did you expect? A hug?" Travis was dead silent. Then suddenly he got up too. "I can't do this," he said, shaking his head. "I'm not marrying a fraud." Tara gasped like he just slapped her. "Babe, seriously." No, babe, I'm out." He grabbed his coat and walked out the door. And for the first time in years, Tara looked scared. Not manipulative, not smug. Scared. The door slammed behind Travis. Tara just stood there, frozen. You could see the shock sink in like she genuinely hadn't expected this moment to come. Like she thought she could keep tap dancing her way through life, charming her way out of every mess. But this wasn't spilled wine or missed rent. This was federal. And the thing is, Tara doesn't do consequences. Not since we were kids. She lies, screws up, then cries her way back into everyone's good graces. So of course, she turned on the tears. "Please," she said, finally looking at me. Her voice cracked perfectly on that one syllable. "You don't know what it's been like. I was desperate. I couldn't get approved for anything. And the house, it was supposed to be for all of us. For family. Family? The audacity. So, you thought screwing my life would help the family?" I asked. "You didn't even ask. You didn't give me a choice, because you would have said no," she snapped. Yeah. Tears gone just like that. There it was, the real her. My dad was silent, still at the table just watching. He looked older, like this one dinner aged him 10 years. You forged legal documents, Tara, he said softly. That's not just wrong, it's criminal. She turned to him, voice shrill. You're seriously taking her side. You always do. It's always been her, the golden child, the reliable one, the one who never needed anything. You don't get it. I was drowning. She was pacing now, hands flying, mascara starting to run like a soap opera meltdown in real time. And then she said it. You think this is the first time? You think this is the worst thing I've done? Everything stopped. My dad sat up straighter. I stared at her. What do you mean? I asked slowly. She froze, realized what she just let slip. Nothing, she mumbled. But it was too late. Tara, I said, what the hell did you do? She started crying harder, then said through sobs, when I was 19, I took out a credit card in your name. Just one. I paid it off eventually. It was just for books and clothes, and I was going to tell you. My stomach flipped. Suddenly, things made sense. Weird credit flags in college. The time, my debit card got suspicious activity alerts, and I just chalked it up to a glitch. She'd been doing this a lot longer than I realized. This wasn't a one-time mistake. It was a pattern, and I had only just started digging. I couldn't sleep. After dinner, after Travis walked out and Tara fake cried her way into silence. After my dad poured himself 2 Wisey's back to back, I went home, locked the door, and started pulling every paper I'd ever saved. Call it instinct. Call it obsession. But when someone looks you dead in the eye and says, this isn't the first time, something in your gut snaps. And mine? It snapped loud. I started with my credit report, pulled the full thing, not the little free snapshot, the full detailed version, and holy hell, there were 6 credit inquiries I didn't recognize. 2 of them were store cards, the kind you get offered at checkout. One was for a rental application. But the most damning, a closed Capital One card in my name from 7 years ago, opened when I was 20. I had no idea, no balance now, but the statement history showed late payments, collections, notices, and a final settled mark from 4 years ago. I never settled anything, but I bet Tara did with money that wasn't hers. At that point, I was shaking, not even out of anger, pure adrenaline. I pulled old emails, found one from 5 years ago, a fraud alert I ignored because I thought it was spam, a credit card company asking if I recognized purchases from a department store in a city I didn't even live in back then. Guess who did live there at the time? Yeah, her. I called the bank the next morning, not the house mortgage bank, the one tied to that old Capital One account. I played dumb, said I was reviewing my credit report, saw an old account, and wanted more info. The woman on the phone was helpful. Too helpful. You were listed as a co-signer, she told me. I nearly dropped the phone. Excuse me, a co-signer? Yes, the primary was Tara Daniels. There it was, black and white. She didn't just open stuff in my name, she made it look like I agreed to it. This wasn't some desperate sister borrowing credit. This was identity theft, fraud, years of it. Carefully covered and buried under charm, tears, and her terror. I didn't think it hurt you voice. By the time I hung up, my heart was pounding so hard it felt like my ribs were bruised. This wasn't about family anymore. This wasn't even about the house. This was about who I'd been letting stay in my life and what I needed to do to protect myself now. Because trust me, I wasn't done. Not by a long shot. After Tara's meltdown and her not-so-little confession, I left that house shaking. My dad walked me out. He didn't say much, just rubbed the back of his neck and muttered, I don't even know what to say. Same, Dad, same. I got home, dropped my keys, and immediately opened my laptop. I didn't even take my coat off. I logged into every financial site I could think of. Credit Karma, Experian, even the one my bank uses that always feels like it's held together with duct tape and a prayer. I hadn't looked at any of it in a while. I'd been so focused on paying bills, work, just life. But now, I needed the truth. All of it. And holy hell, the mess was bigger than I imagined. There were 3 credit cards I never applied for. A store card I had zero memory of from a luxury kids boutique. A loan application I got denied for 6 months ago. Tara tried again, 2 more times. My credit wasn't just dented, it was shredded. And somehow in all of this, I didn't notice. But that's the thing about trusting people you shouldn't. You stop double-checking, you assume love means safety. Then I found something that made my stomach knot. There was a Venmo account linked to my email. It had been renamed. The profile pic wasn't mine, but the activity constant. I clicked through the transactions, all small amounts. $20 here, $40 there. Notes like manicure, errands, gas for Travis. Over months, she used my info to create a shadow version of me. I wasn't just betrayed, I was duplicated. The more I found, the more sick I felt. I called the bank, reported everything. They flagged all recent activity, froze accounts, and started building a fraud case. The rep on the line sounded genuinely stunned when I said, "Yes, it was my sister." "I'm so sorry," she said. This is gonna take a while." Yeah, I knew that. What I didn't know was what I was gonna say to my mom when she found out, because guess who Tara went crying to next? Around midnight, my phone buzzed. "Mom." I stared at it for a while. Finally answered, "What the hell did you do to your sister?" "No, hello, just venom." I almost laughed. "Me? She stole my identity, bought a house, took out cards, lied to my face. She's your sister." "Exactly. So maybe she should have acted like it." And I hung up because no way was I gonna let anyone, even my own mother, make me feel guilty for finally standing up for myself. The court date was set for 6 weeks out. I filed charges, identity theft, fraud, forgery, the works. Not because I wanted to. God, I didn't want this. I wanted peace. I wanted my name back. I wanted my sister to say I'm sorry, and actually mean it. But that's not how this story works. Tara doubled down, tried to act like she was the one being wronged. She posted some cryptic stuff on Facebook. Family is supposed to protect you, not destroy you. And her little posy of enablers started chiming in with sympathy and hearts. Meanwhile, I was getting debt collectors calling me about bills I didn't even know existed. So yeah, court was happening and I was bringing everything. Leading up to it, things got tense. My mom and I stopped speaking. Every time I'd see her number, I'd feel like I was going to puke. My dad stayed quiet. He said he didn't want to get in the middle, which, let's be real, is code for I don't want to make either of my daughters mad. Fine, whatever. I didn't need them anymore. What I did need was someone who could prove I wasn't crazy, someone who'd seen things, witnessed the sketchiness. So I reached out to Travis. Yes, Travis, the ex-fiance. He responded with, "I was hoping you'd ask." Turns out Travis had receipts of his own. "She made me co-sign on a loan last year," he said. "Told me it was for a car, then spent it on furniture and some influencer course. Never paid a dime." He also told me she admitted what she'd done to me. Late one night, drunk, crying into a bowl of ice cream. He agreed to testify. Then came the real twist. A week before the court date, I got a call from the detective working the case. "Are you sitting down?" My stomach dropped. "Yeah, we found another identity. Someone else she used. Same method, her old roommate from college." Boom. This wasn't just a one-time desperate mistake. It was a pattern, a track record, and it changed everything. The DA added more charges. Now it wasn't just a personal case. It was criminal, felony-level criminal. Tara, she was about to go from daddy's favorite to orange jumpsuit real fast. And still, a part of me felt sick. This was my sister. We shared bunk beds. We traded Halloween candy. I held her hand after her first heartbreak, and now I was walking into court with evidence to bury her. Court day hit like a brick. I didn't sleep the night before. I laid in bed staring at the ceiling, replaying every fight, every lie, every excuse Tara had fed me over the years. My chest felt heavy the entire morning, not from fear, from grief. Grieving the idea of the sister I thought I had, grieving the version of myself that kept swallowing it all down just to keep the peace. She showed up late in a cardigan like she was on her way to a book club. Didn't look at me once. My dad sat between us in the hallway before we were called in, silent, couldn't even meet my eyes. Travis was already inside, sitting near the back, looking like a man who had aged 10 years since the last time they spoke. He nodded when I walked by. Just one of those I got you kind of nods. That meant more than I expected it to. The court stuff, brutal. They read out the charges. Tara's lawyer tried to frame her as desperate, not dangerous. But then came the evidence. The forged documents, the fake ID photos, the witness list, and the bombshell, the second victim. When they introduced the former roommate to testify, Tara finally looked rattled. That was the moment it clicked for her. This wasn't about just me anymore. This was a pattern. This was a trail. And now she couldn't outrun it. And then the judge asked me something I didn't expect. Do you wish to make a victim impact statement? I stood, took a deep breath. She wasn't always this person. Or maybe she was and I just didn't want to see it. But what hurts most isn't the money or the debt or the house. It's that she looked me in the face, smiled at me, and lied every day while destroying my name behind my back. I don't want revenge. I just want this to stop for me. For anyone she might have done this to next. My voice cracked. I didn't care, that was the truth. The verdict? Guilty. Multiple counts, sentencing scheduled for next month. She'll likely do time. When they escorted her out, she finally looked at me and she mouthed, "You did this." Like I hadn't just been cleaning up the mess she made. Later that night, I stood outside the house she bought in my name. I had paperwork now, the legal proof it was mine. The court ordered it to be turned over to me pending cleanup of her mess. But I didn't want it, so I sold it. Every last square foot. Used the money to pay off the debt she left in my name. Bought myself a tiny apartment near the city. Got my own place, my own lease in my name. For once, just mine. And when I moved in, I did it alone. No drama, no lies, no sister, just me. A mattress on the floor and a quiet I hadn't felt in years. It wasn't the ending I wanted, but damn if it wasn't the one I deserved. Comment below. Would you have stayed quiet, or gone off the second you found out? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more real-life stories about healing, betrayal, and finding your voice. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.